Yeah, I don't know
tired,
about
lol.
cancer and
Found
AIDS and
semen in the
stuff.
box.
I read on the
Probably
internet,
wouldn't buy it
the
again.
Wikipedia,
The iPad
cancer cure,
sucks. Sent from
better
my
than the
iPhone.
mold one.
I'm
you
just
know?
saying. Ding!
Sometimes the internet is just shitty.
A futile waste of time and energy. The reason people are unfollowing you on Twitter, ignoring you on Facebook, or just plain not taking you seriously. No, I'm not talking about keeping everyone abreast of your sleeping habits. I'm talking about this week's topic, which is, of course, complaining on the internet. Generally speaking, complaining on the internet is thought of as just pissing in the wind. And if all you're doing is telling people that you're feeling too lazy to do your laundry, it is. But with the right complaint, and if the wind is just so, you can get some serious results. For example, when Dilbert.com redesigned itself to be a pop-up laden, crazy, slow-loading beast of a thing, the fans complained so much that they had no choice but to react by redesigning it, streamlining it, getting rid of the ads, and so on. Unfortunately, it was still displaying Dilbert cartoons. Another electronic middle finger was raised in September of last year when a web designer had a terrible experience on his holiday that was arranged through Thompson Holidays. So he wrote an essay about it on his blog, which may not sound like a big deal, except that essay actually got passed around so much that when you put Thompson Holidays into Google, the essay complaining about them was the top match, not their company's site. That may not sound like the biggest burn, but really, imagine if you Googled your own name and the #1 match was an essay telling everybody about what a bullshit little man or woman you are. The most impressive complaint I've seen on the internet came in the form of a song you might have heard, called United Breaks Guitars. The story is simple enough, involving a traveling musician called Dave Carroll, whose $3,500 Taylor guitar was horribly damaged by careless United Airways baggage handlers. Well, he tried complaining over the phone, but was given a terrible runaround and eventually just had to give up. So, he complained on the internet. But he didn't just post about it on a forum or make a noise on Twitter. No, he wrote a funny song about it and then made a music video to go with that song that he put on YouTube. Now, as of my writing the script for this episode, that video had over 7.5 million views. Why? Well, I reckon because it was funny, it was well put together, it dealt with a problem a lot of people could relate to, baggage claim crapola, and its good-natured delivery freed it from the ammonium stench of whining. This is a much better recipe than the one commonly used by folk with an axe to grind on the internet. Of course, there can be downsides to complaining on the internet. For example, like everything else you put on the internet, your complaints are there forever. And I don't care what your privacy settings are on Facebook. Everybody can either see what you said or have what you said be passed along to them by someone who can. This is especially true if you live in a country which is differently freedom of speech abled, like China, Indonesia, or North Korea. Although frankly, if you live in North Korea, I think you should be forgiven for wanting to complain given all the reasons you have. Plus, as I said at the beginning, if your Twitter feed or your Facebook statuses always look like this, then you're just annoying your friends. In fact, you just made me complain on the internet. In my video about Oh, you just made me get all metatextual in this shit. So, do I recommend complaining on the internet? Well, if you've been seriously inconvenienced or actually wronged, and the traditional channels haven't done you any good, then I'd say, yeah, go for it. Just make sure to try and include at least some of the ingredients in that deluxe internet complaint formula I mentioned earlier. If you disagree with me, or something I said in this episode, or just want to tell me how much I suck, well then, why don't you tell me all about it in the comments?
Yeah, and how about outro narration? Oliver, you suck. You suck about as much as a Roomba robot floor vacuum, making a little on the side by turning tricks for the family dog. You know, he likes it rough.
That video had over 7.5 million views. Why? Well, I reckon because it's funny, it was well put together, and it did with For example, when Dilbert.com changed its web design to a pop-up laden beast of a thing that's loaded really slowed, it's slowly loaded, that's what you call it, slowed, cut.